with the sound of our glorious time wasting until we get into Champion Select. So on the blue side today we have Plymouth Hose, and on the red side we have Hided Daughters. All in all, a fairly
Oh, never
strong
mind.
lineup from both teams, as we are actually in Champion Select right now. So that is a good thing.
Yeah, that's always a nice way to start, I'd find. Anyway, first picks and bans going through. First ban, Severe. Interesting. So I'm assuming that's just either the sort of pick that they really don't want to face. Might be, of course, a bit of insider knowledge. Fortunately, that's insider knowledge we haven't been provided with. Rek'Sai is a bit of a no-brainer ban, though. She is incredibly... I'm not even going to call it she, it. It is incredibly strong in the jungle. And is pretty much a permaban in most situations. I don't think I've seen a Rek'Sai go through in solo queue since it was released.
So with the last couple of patches, there have been two negative nerfs to Rek'Sai. So she's not quite as strong as she was on release, but that's not really hard because she was a monster on release.
Yep.
Um, So we see the rest of the bands that Azir, Vi, Fiddlesticks, and Kalista coming out. Azir, obviously a very strong mid laner right now, really annoying, scales really well into late game, and is really hard to deny in lane just with the Sand Soldiers and the amount of range he can farm safely from.
Indeed. Other bands coming out, we've got Vi, Callista, and Fiddle, and first pick being hovered over. Two of the major assassins in Akali and Katarina are still open, so we'll have to see what comes through from that. PC jumping from champ to champ. I'm pretty sure Teemo isn't going to get locked.
I would be very surprised and interested if there was going to be a Teemo lock.
You wouldn't first pick it though, surely. I mean,
Wouldn't you?
Teemo's quite easy to counter though. I mean, I don't think you'd first pick it. Maybe do it as some kind of interesting counter. And no, there we go. PC switches over to Jarvan the Fourth, so that's their jungler locked in. Other
Yeah,
jungle, in terms of the jungle right now, there's not a massive amount of jungle variation. I mean, of course, the whole idea was jungler diversity, but most of the time you see the Jarvans, you see the Vys, you see Lee Sin still because Lee Sin, but a lot of junglers like Kha'Zix completely fell out. Like, you don't see Kha'Zix played at all anymore because he's just too squishy for the new jungle.
Yeah, a lot of them, as you said, have come back into prominence as the kind of old picks. The Fiddlesticks, again, is a very strong jungler, obviously banned in this game, but we see a Gnar and a Janna picked up, and I guess that just denies the Narvin combo that
Yeah,
is
I was
so
going to say that's a
very
smart pick.
strong from Plymouth. Yeah, it's very, very nice to deny that wombo away from Plymouth there. And the Janna is always going to be very strong, amazing against a Jarvan, as you can deny that flag and drag combo like as much as you like. Obviously, you can't deny the Cataclysm as you are unable to be stopped during that, but it's still extremely strong and gives so much heal as a support. You are able to keep anyone alive and just give so much control throughout a team fight with that Janna.
Yes, indeed. We're going to see the Thresh locked in, so that's both supports already put down, and it looks like Cassiopeia might be taken as a mid lane pick. Yeah, Cassiopeia is going to be locked in. Cass was actually hit by a minor nerf in the 5.2 patch as well, but mana cost, I believe, increases. Nothing too major.
Yeah, but then you say that the amount that she spams those twin fangs really adds up in the mana costs, because with the reset on it, if your target is poisoned, you can just use that twin fangs over and over again, and if it costs 90 mana a pop now, which I believe it does, then it really adds up. And if you don't have a blue buff, or even if you do have, if you can go very quickly.
Well, of course, Cassios do tend to build Tear the Goddess anyway, so they'll mitigate it somewhat. But as you say, yeah, it will somewhat decrease the incredibly obnoxious kind of sit there, land one stack of poison, and then you take 3 Twin Fangs to the face. Because that's something that Casses have been known to do in the past.
Indeed it has. We see the Orianna and the Graves locked in as a counter to that. Graves is a very strong AD at the moment, along with the Janna. You get so much extra AD from the shield, should be able to absolutely dominate most lanes, especially if this Vayne gets locked in.
That's such.
That is
I'm not convinced
that
by
would
that.
be a very interesting pick, but if you can make it work, obviously, then you are going to scale incredibly well into the late game, but picking a Vayne into a Graves Janna is very brave.
Incredibly risky, yeah. If that Janna Graves can get an early catch, then it's going to be summoners burned, if not a life taken. So, yeah. It's all going to be down to this bottom lane just to hold out, I suppose, and really down to the thresh just to make sure that Vayne doesn't take too much damage in the early game.
Yeah, and I'd look to see a fair amount of this Jarvan sitting in and around this bot lane just to keep them safe as much as anything, as the pressure that the Jarvan will be able to apply would hopefully, you'd think, for the Plymouth team be able to counteract most of the potential from this Graves.
You'd hope so. As we can see, last pick being hovered over. Various things, including a Mordekaiser of all things. But it is going to be locked in as a Sejuani, so going to have Sej in the jungle there for our red team. I find it something funny. This is worth pointing out, actually. I noticed on the client, it's still down as purple team. It's still down as purple team, except everything on the map is red.
Even though it's in colorblind mode, they do not change the name of the teams. But, well, I guess that is just the Riot client for you.
Don't speak ill of Riot. Don't do it. No. It's a terrible idea. Anyway, quick, we'll go across the teams. Of course, we do have a 3-minute spectator delay beforehand, so we can do a little bit of theory crafting. Who doesn't love a bit of theory crafting? Anyway, on the blue side, we're going to have Kassadin in the top lane. We have Flash Ant in the jungle on Job in the fourth. Magician in the middle lane playing Cassiopeia. And Rivington's Beard and PC3 in the bottom lane playing Vayne and the Thresh respectively.
Meanwhile, on the red side, we have Shawuppel playing Gnar in this top lane.
Trindle.
No, we don't. We have Trindle playing.
He locked the Gnar. It was swapped.
They swapped. Yeah, they swapped. I'm really good at this.
It's fine.
We have Ebon Dragon on Sejuani in the jungle, Elements on Orianna in the mid lane, and Welshi and Shawuppel on Graves and Janna respectively for their duo lane.
So,
one thing we haven't touched upon, this Sejuani pick. I really like it.
I like it. Sejuani is actually one of my go-to junglers because, one, I'm an awful jungler, but Sejuani is one of the picks I tend to fall back on because if you just sit and farm early game, go Trailblazer, you can farm the jungle very quickly, and then when you hit level 6, you can enter a lane and pretty much guarantee a kill, especially if you can land the Glacial Prison.
Yeah, you followed that up with the Arctic Assault, and that is a lot of CC that comes down, along with the perma-slow that Sejuani does bring to a gank. And if you have strong laners that can follow up on a lot of CC, such as a Graves, a Gnar, or an Orianna, that do a fair amount of damage, then that is going to be a lot of level 6 pressure, and I feel like the Plymouth team need to be aware of the pressure that this Sejuani will bring when he hits level 6.
Indeed, and of course, something that's become more popular of late than I don't think ever before is this Kassadin top lane on our blue side. I'm not sure how it will fare in lane against a Gnar, but for sure it'll definitely be a concern. Depending on how well he does, a pretty major concern late game, of course.
Indeed it will, but then Gnar also just scales so well into team fights and into the late game. We've obviously got the Gnar ult, which has a lot of lockdown potential, and if he manages to land that and stun Verybor's Kassadin, then that is going to be a lot of mobility that is going to be taken away, because you can follow that up with the stun from the Wallop and layer all of that CC together, and they're probably going to be able to pick up at least 1 or 2 kills within that time. So these team fights are going to be very strong from Heidi Daughters.
Yeah, the CC combo in that team is just, well, it's pretty insane. We'll put that out there. Sejuani, of course, is probably going to be the initiator throughout the glacial prison. Hopefully, catches someone. They then sprint she Arctic assaults, especially if elements can lob the ball onto her first. Ball goes down. There's the shockwave. Trindle can follow up on the Gnar, maybe knocking several people into a wall, and that's going to make trades incredibly difficult.
Yeah, you follow that up with the nice AoE damage that a Graves brings with the buckshot, with the collateral damage, and the vision denial from the smokescreen. I feel like that's a very underrated ability. And all of that combined is going to be a very devastating team fight if Plymouth do get caught out in this mid to late game stage by the Wombo.
Indeed. We shall have to see, of course. We are going to be loading into the game, so on the blue side is Plymouth Hose, on the red side is Hide Your Daughters. Skin Wars, something that has probably been left in the annals of time long, long ago, but I'm resurrecting now. I was going to say the win is there for Hide Your Daughters, but I am a massive fan of Warring Kingdoms Jarvan, so it sort of balances. Although Dino Gnar is kind of amazing too.
Dino Gnar is one of the bestest skins in the game. Although I'm kind of sad not to see Oro Rider Sejuani. As
Yes.
nice as traditional is, Poro Rider is just like better.
Well, in the same vein, you could say that
Oh
we
god.
aren't seeing the Blood Moon Thresh. I was
True.
no pun made there.
Oh come
You
on.
were expecting the pun there. You were
Well no,
expect.
you already made it. In the same vein. You don't even notice you make these, do you?
That's what shows that you are good at making puns. You make puns before you've even realised that you have made puns. Anyway, we are now loaded onto the Rift. First items picked up. Nothing particularly outlandish going to be taken by any members of these two teams. We'll just flip around these portraits so that we can get our matchups correct.
Though you say that, the ancient coin being picked up by Janet is very interesting. It shows
It's
to
normally a
me
spell
that
wave,
they
isn't
are,
it? Yeah.
yeah, that the Janna wants to go for a much more passive laning phase, which seems rather odd considering the matchup. And the extra damage that the Spell Thieves bring, I feel, would just synergize a lot better. Along with the upgraded Frost Queen's claim, it adds just an incredible amount of disengage, like extra disengage for a Janna that's already got a lot in her own kit.
Indeed, yeah. And for the most part, the early section of the game looks to be a fairly standard setup. I say standard. Ebon Dragon was hovering on the blue. I imagine he should probably start at Glomp though. That's the accepted start, I'd say. If you're on red side normally, you'll start Glomp and of course on blue side start Krugs and pick up those early game buffs because of course they are very, very helpful in that early clear stage.
Yeah, they just want to be standing around that entrance. Although they've got a couple of wards down, they are about to time out, and they just want to be sure that they're not going to be invaded. Sedrani is obviously very prone to invades, and without vision round that corner, then they could get caught out. But yep, they are starting, or she is starting at the frog, and pretty
Jarvan's actually
standard
starting
jungle
red.
starts. The jungle's, yeah, Jarvan's starting red, so we may look to see an early invade from Jarvan onto either probably onto this blue buff of Sedrani, or he may go round and try and get the second red, although he has just smited red buffs, so that may not be a thing that he's going to do anymore.
It's pretty hard to call. I would say it's for the time being. It looks like he is going to head towards the river, so he may want to try and get a catch, or maybe even a level 2 gank onto Orianna. We'll have to see. He is there. Ebon Dragon,
Okay.
very low on health. In fact, he just decides to ward the wolf camp. I think he's going to stay there just to see if he can get a catch. Ebon Dragon is
Yeah,
very low on health and has burned
yeah,
both his potions.
Yeah, he's gonna wait. Oh, he's just gonna leave as Ebon Dragon shows on the ward, but Flashan is gonna be too late in going up as Ebon Dragon heads straight across to the other side of the jungle. A bit of a missed opportunity there, and a little bit of impatience from Blashant, otherwise I feel that could have been a very easy first blood picked up in this Jarvan, and setting a Sejuani behind is never a bad thing.
No, absolutely not. Level 2 was picked up first by Welshi and Shroople in the bottom lane. Rivington and PC are going to pick that up as well, but of course the earlier level 2 means that they can go slightly more aggressive. They don't really seem able to at this exact moment. Top lane, the standard island setup. Mid lane, the standard poke setup. There's the trade, but Welshi, it's safe to say Welshi won that trade more than convincingly. The shield from the Eye of the Storm just mitigating the tumble damage. Of course, Vayne does not hit hard early game, unless you're incredibly lucky and have taken a crit route. Oh, bit of aggression coming out though. Shroople gets caught. Seems like nothing major is going to come of it. For the time being, they do just back off. Well, she's going to go and throw a ward into the Tribrush just to see if Jarvan is anywhere nearby. He is actually... looks like he's going to try and get towards this top lane. Definitely heading that way. Flash Ant is going to come around behind Trindle. There's absolutely no vision here. Trindle is going to be completely caught out. Good catch, but there's the good flash as well. That was a incredibly nice escape. Veryboar and Flash Ant kind of having to sit there as Trindle flashes back to turret. But that is flash down, of course, so Jarvan can just recycle this lane, get another gank down, and potentially pick up first blood for his team. For now, Trindle is just going to want to back off. Of course, he's got teleport available, so he'll burn that to his tower, put it on a 3-minute cooldown instead of the regular 6.
I want to look at this mid lane matchup though a little bit, as Cassio, or Magician on Cassio, is very low on mana, so is Elements, but Cassio has a very large health advantage.
Whoa, Eben Dragon catching Flash Ant.
Eben, yeah, catching Flash Ant in the jungle, and forcing the EQ away. But it's very passive early game, apart from that one gank in that top lane, forcing a flash. It's very nice, but Gnar is a very safe laner with that pop as he uses it and takes a force pulse for his trouble.
Yeah, for the time being, things are looking relatively even across the board. I think it's safe to say. Things generally quite quiet. Everyone's all about the farming right now, and it's not that stage of the game just yet when a massive lead will be showing itself. I mean, unless Welshi and Shroople had been able to completely force Rivsbeard off the farm, which they have not been able to do, then maybe things would have been different. But League is not a game about maybes, it is about what is in this exact moment. PC going for the bait throw. We always love a bit of the baiting lantern. Just to see Welshi and Shroople run away for fear of the
That's
draft.
actually really smart, because the more he baits with that fake lantern, the more likely that the bot lane
It's going to be the Cry Wolf.
Shroople and Welshi are going to disrespect it.
Yeah, it's the Cry Wolf theory.
Yeah.
Not theory.
And at some point there is going to be a Jarvan there, and that is going to be a free gank on this bottom lane. So they are very pushed up. They have just put a ward in the Tribrush, though.
Oop, Jarvan's going towards top lane again. Veryboar is there. Flash Ant currently sat off in the brush. Not quite able to get in just yet, it seems. Trindle is a bit too close to his turret for the time being. Riv and PC are trying to trade, but in every situation, Welshi and Shroople just have the leg up, of course. The Janna shield just helping out so much. Veryboar and Trindle have both hit level 6, and Veryboar is more than content to go for trades. Trindle very, very low, does not have teleport up either, so if he was to back right now, he would be losing a lot of CS.
Yeah, we see both junglers heading towards this mid lane. Jarvan has been spotted out, as was Eben Dragon on Sejuani, by the ward that is sitting behind the bush. That's a very nice ward, actually. Not many junglers expect one to be there, but they both go back to their jungle, content to wait until hitting level 6. Sejuani, or Eben Dragon on Sejuani, is actually fairly far ahead of Flashback's Jarvan experience-wise, just because of the couple of failed ganks, though. we say that Ebon Dragon has not been spotted and is heading towards this Kassadin.
And it's just as Trindle hits Mega Nara as well. He's going to go aggressive. Wallop lands on towards it. Gets the Nara into the wall. There's the burn. Ebon Dragon is not level 6 just yet, so damage is going to be a little bit scarce. And there's the second Rift Walk. It's going to get very bored to safety. I think that would have been First Blood had Ebon Dragon waited for level 6. Because the Glacial Prison would have been more than enough CC to finish that gank off.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit hasty there, but he's applying, Ebon Dragon showing that he's applying pressure, and a little bit of an unfortunate play for Plymouth there. Both the bot lane of Heidi Daughters had backed. That was a free dragon that they could have just picked up with Ebon Dragon showing in the top lane, but they decide to just back off and spend their gold. Vayne picking up the bilge water, a pink going down on Dragon for the red team, and Jarvan looking for an invade on this blue buff.
Thing is, he may well get caught out. Flashhand actually catching on to elements right here. Once again, he's not level 6. There's the flash elements. Going to be aggressed upon very, very hard. Flashhand's actually the one who ends up in trouble. There's the damage coming through from Magician. Flashhand flashes over the wall. The Petrifying Gaze is not actually enough, and the Exhaust goes through. First Blood gets picked up by Welshi. Flashhand running for his life through the enemy jungle. Welshi's going to heal. Flashhand does flash through, but there's the double kill as the turret picks up aggro onto Jarvan. And that's 2 kills onto a Graves, who's already farming pretty well in this early stage of the game. He's going to be...
And a red buff.
Indeed, he's in very good shape right now. BF Pickaxe already picked up pre-10 minutes. The Vision Ward at Dragon will be taken as some form of recompense, but of course it's going to be a little bit of a hollow victory.
Indeed it will. That was a little bit questionable of an invade there, as their bot lane had backed off. They realised they should have realised they had no pressure coming from their bottom lane, but they decided to go for it anyway, and they pay the price. They didn't really get anything out of it, and Jarvan is now potentially actually just going to take this blue, as Magician is still just in this mid lane. He's not heading towards his blue buff, so the second blue for a jungler that's been having questionable impact, as we see Ebon Dragon sniffing around this bottom lane. Did get seen by a ward, does have the Glacial Prison available, but just decides to back off.
Magician Elements, once again, Trading Elements has picked up a nice amount of AP though, so going to be hurting a lot with the command attack dissonance. Going to see those trades continue. Sejuani attempting to make his way, her way up the river. Ebon Dragon actually going to take the Rift Scuttler, just give his team a bit of extra vision. No stealth dragons going to be picked up at this point in the game at least. And as you said, for the time being, things looking fairly quiet. There's not massive CS discrepancies, but here's Ebon Dragon coming in. Great flash from Magician. Gets straight back out of it. Here's Flashhand coming in as well. Glacial Prison was burnt on Flashhand. Ebon Dragon going to be taking a lot of damage. I'm wondering to see if the Cataclysm will come out. Does go down. Ebon Dragon forced to flash out of it. Petrifying Gaze does not land the stun onto Elements. Ignite is down onto it, and it is going to pick up the kill as Magician lobs the double fang twice. Twin fang twice. Truple coming in, trying to become a very, very aggressive. The Monsoon was burnt, and here comes Trindle. Trindle's actually quite low on health, though. If he were to go too aggressive, he might get caught out. Shruple's going to rush back into his own jungle. PC was trying to get a bead on him, but that won't quite happen. So kill picked up by Magician. That brings the gold back a little bit. Only 400 the difference for the time being. Flashhand is actually going to get executed by the Raptor Cam. That is a mistake that is... I'm pretty sure that is a mistake that was made by almost every jungler at the start of the preseason, though. He's like, oh, yeah, I'm just gonna go do wraiths. Nope. In memory of our fallen brethren.
Yeah. So with the TP coming down, we do see Kassadin able to get a fair amount of free farm. Actually, now ahead on CS. Has finished
got a run of ages too.
Which is going to start to stack, and that is going to be... That's actually a... It's not a very early run of ages, but it's by no means a late run of ages. It's a very kind of average one, and that is going to be a little bit scary, as obviously he does ramp up, so does this Vayne, and it's just kind of a matter of time before Red Team, they do start to get a little bit outscaled if they can't land their wombos within team fights.
And it's, well, the wombos are what they are relying upon. As we said, the CC combo of Orianna, Sejuani is so good. But, quite rightly, if Rivington doesn't get caught by it, or if Veryboard doesn't get caught by it, then they could be in a really, really bad situation.
Indeed, and one thing to take note of is the turn potential of this blue team. It's actually very high with the Jarvan re-engage, with the Dragon Cataclysm, and the Petrifying Gaze if they are being chased. There is a, Red Team have to be careful not to over-chase and not to get too confident, though we are potentially seeing a 3-man dive on this mid lane tower. Magician has sniffed it out and put a ward behind the tower and is going to stay safe. That's very, very good spidey senses and communication from this Kassadin, as well as a pink ward that no one saw.
Right, we're just hitting the 14-minute mark. The goal is fairly even. The CS discrepancies accounting for that 1 kill lead currently being held by our blue team, which is the Plymouthos? It was the Plymouthos. And
yes, Plymouthos.
Yes. And red team being Hydra Daughters. Oh, well, she's looking to go very aggressive, and that was a bit of a miscommunication from Rivington and PC. Rivington actually condemning him out of the death sentence. So, well, she's going to be a little bit grateful, I think, to his opposite number.
By the same token, the Plymouth doesn't particularly want to fight all that much. They're just content to farm. Like, being less than 10 CS down on a Vayne is not a bad thing. At this point, they have won lane. If it wasn't for the roam and the couple of kills that Graves got early, they would be sitting in a very pretty position. A pink ward comes out in the tri-buff of that bot lane, and we're going to look to see a Jarvan ganking and then potentially turn this into a dragon afterwards, as that hasn't been touched, and it's 15 minutes into the game.
He's there. There, he does take the lantern, but Welshi and Shroopal more than up to speed, I think, on what they were trying to pull off. Not Crying Wolf just yet, but Shroopal gets caught miles out of position, actually. PC gets the flay down, there's the hook as well. There's the ultimate. Shroopal flashes out of that. PC's now going to be the target. Rivington's Beard trying to go aggressive towards Welshi. Fight still engaging going on right now. There's the bubble. Shroopal got still incredibly low on health. PC and Rivington's Beard both get caught by the shockwave. Welsh incredibly low on health as well. Evan Dragon going to be trying to get back towards turret. Elements is now the focus. Very, very low on health. Does get taken down by Veryboard. 1-for-1 trade, but that is a support for a mid laner.
And a huge missed opportunity there by Welshi and Elements. As you said, the shockwave landed on 2, but it pulled them out of the collateral damage. The collateral
that would have been a double.
Just whiffed. So that would be very unfortunate for Red Team there, as Blue Team pick up a dragon for that nice play. And very bit of a messy team fight coming out there, but Plymouth holds the victors overall, though probably going to lose a lot of damage on this top tower.
It doesn't go down, though. So for now, the gold lead is theirs. Oh wait, no it doesn't. No, it isn't.
But they do have the dragon, which makes up for a lot of that gold. That 6% bonus AD and AP really helps out, especially in these early game situations, as it does stack up with the amount of items you get. But in this early game, it's going to be very useful for them, just to give them a bit of extra oomph. Yeah,
for the time being, things looking fairly status quo once again. Farm being picked up on each and every side, and oh, the burst from Elements now is starting to really, really smart. That was a third of Magician's health that just disappeared, like one of those wonderful little tricks that you see at children's parties.
Indeed.
Oh, Trindle!
So we see going on in play. Trindle's going to get out of that one as Magician picks up a blue buff. PC is sniffing around this top lane, but I don't think they're going to be able to get anything, as Trindle is wisely backing off, does have the TP available, though is going to be able to not lose much if he even decides to use the teleport as Sejuani.
Oh, Evan Dragon's actually going to get caught out here. Trindle's coming in, but Flash Ant is here as well. Flag and Drag does come through, gets caught by the Glacial Prison though, and once again Evan Dragon flashes out of the Cataclysm. Not going to stop Veryboar though. There's the flash from Flash Ant. Still gets taken down by the damage from Elements, and Veryboar is going to get chased down. There's the Boulder. There's the Petrifying Gaze. Might be enough to save. Nope, there's the Zephyr coming through from Shwoople. Magician getting knocked left, right, and upwards, and Elements picks up that kill. It's a 3-for-1 trade. Really, really massively going in favour of Hide Your Daughters there.
And it's a refresh picked up on Element's blue buff. He's going to be very...
Oh, there's the hook landing onto Welshi, though. They are going full ham onto this one. A lot of damage being dealt. They might trade PC for this one. No, he survives on very low health. Ruinton's Beard picks up that kill, though, so that is the Vayne starting to scale. Got the Blade of the Ruin King completed. And this is the point in the game where Vayne is going to slowly start just ticking over. And very soon...
Shwoople is in odd position here.
Trying to go aggressive, but... Had that condemn landed, I think that would have been, if not a dead Shwoople, a very, very bloodied one.
Yeah, Evan Dragon was waiting in the wings.
Whoa, Trindle being aggressed upon by Veryboar again. He's going to jump over. Veryboar not deciding to follow with the Rift Walk. Flash Ant just going to pick up his red buff. Once again, it's fight phase. This is like a WoW raid. This is literally what it is. There's a burn phase, and then there's a conserve phase. We're currently in a conserve phase. 33 seconds until not Dragon respawns, until Baron spawns for the first time on the map, of course. In Season 5, he now spawns at the 20-minute mark. PC's actually been caught out in the jungle. Shwoople and Welshi gonna go full aggro onto that. Flash Ant has come in to try and assist. Shwoople gonna take the brunt of that damage. Flash Ant goes quite wide on that one, and he is going to pay for his life, I am almost certain. Welshie's going to have to use the heal to chase, but the minions do pick that one up. Welshie now 3-1. Infinity Edge completed on his end of the bargain. Still a fair little while though until Dragon respawns, so picking up the Rift Scuttle is not going to be a massive benefit there.
They do give Graves another red buff though. He's been gifted so many red buffs from these kills that he is sitting in a really good position.
Oh!
He's onto PC, the collapsing damage comes down, but he doesn't quite get the kill. Meanwhile, Trindle is trading with Veryboar in this top lane. He's about to hit Mega Gnar, but he decides to run back to tower and pick up that CS instead.
Yeah,
Bit of
Gnar.
action going.
I was just going to say about the even in Mega form, it's quite hard for a Gnar to keep a grasp on Kassadin, of course, because Riftwalk has such a low cooldown. If Trindle is unable to catch Veryboar completely off guard, then it's unlikely he's going to be able to put any significant amount of damage down. Speaking of significant damage, half of Magician's health just dissipates, and well, that's the strength of the Orianna for you.
And that's also because we see no MR for this Magician's Cassiopeia. Did opt for the tier and is now actually a Seraph, so that is a bit of a power spike there, but we do see the Athenes on the other side for Elements, which is going to be helping with a lot of this damage that Cassio is putting out. Just a little bit of MR really makes a difference.
And especially against this dot-heavy style that Cassiopeia exhibits. Ooh, Trindle comes in for a bit of aggression. It looks like it might be a bit of a collapse here. Veryboar, Flash, and both looking like they wanted to engage. Trindle's actually got the Mega Gnar, but once again just decides to back away. Doesn't want to aggress too hard. This is actually going to be a full-on team fight right here. Right in the centre of the map.
Is available as well, so that's something to bear in mind.
Every ult is up right now. In fact, no, Welshie's is down for the time being. Now it's just come back up. So this is a full power fight. There are a couple of flashes down. In fact, no, the flashes are about even. The lack of a flash on Magician, though, might really cost them. And of course, now that Dragon is live, that's why everyone's been grouping up. And this is going to be the first major fight of the game. This is the real assessment of how these power spikes stack up.
Yeah, I feel there's a little bit of a missed opportunity there. Ebon Dragon probably could have gone in, did have the ball available when they were all taking out that ward, but posturing back and forth.
Gnar stuck in the mid lane, though. Gnar stuck in mid.
Gnar is in the mid lane. he is.
I expected an engage there. I expected an engage. I was under the impression that 4v5, or maybe they didn't notice until it was too late. But they could have gone for the divide and conquer play, or rather, the enemy is divided, we shall conquer them play.
Yeah, but they can't. They have started off the dragon now. Meganar.
Oh, hook onto elements. There's going to be the engage. Great go through from PC. 4 members get hit by the flame. PC going to go incredibly low. Magician going to be the first casualty. Rivington's Bid going to have to flash away. PC's going to get taken down by Trindle. That's a double kill for the Gnar. Shwoople incredibly low, but Flash Ant is going to have to flash away as well. Well, she picks up a kill onto that one. Another kill going to be picked up onto Elements, and there is a convincing fight. Veryboar, the only member of Plymouth Host to survive that, and that is going to be an uncontested. Never mind, Veryboar does come in. Going to have to try and juke. Nope, there's the ace. So a 5-for-1 trade, and a second dragon going to be picked up by Hydra Daughters. And of course, that boost to tower destruction means, well, she can take down this mid turret. That's all outer turrets now down on the Plymouth Host side. And this is the point in the game where this roam heavy style from a Kassadin can properly become effective, because the chances that the enemy is very, very not limited, the chance that the enemy team is very spread out is a lot higher. So it means now that even though their towers are down, Veryboar becomes more of a threat, because if someone does get caught off guard, he has got enough damage right now just to kind of nuke them. I mean, he's got Rod of Ages, he's not long for Lichbane as well.
Yeah, he's also got his fully stacked Rod, as he said, and that is a little bit scary. But I feel like it's got to the point where Plymouth can't fight. Like, they just flat out can't team fight. They have to look for picks. They have to use the mobility of this Kassadin.
Oh, there's the cheeky steal.
Steals the River Scuttler.
Flay passive OP.
It is indeed. I feel like they have to use the mobility and the strength of this Kassadin, along with the mobility of the Jarvan, and the reposition potential and pick potential of this Thresh to kind of, as I said, just make picks. They need to get a lot more vision down as well. If you look at the vision, there's loads around this dragon pit for both teams, but that's literally it. They have nothing anywhere else on the map regarding vision. But, and we need to, like, both teams need to try and take advantage of this lack of vision that each other have.
Yep, Rift Scuttle is going to be taken down near to the Baron. That might signify that that Hydra Daughters wants to go that way. I wouldn't imagine they would want to take that much of a risk this early in the game, though.
They haven't got that quick a Baron team, even though they do have the extra % damage on the Gnar in mini Gnar form. He's not going to be mini for the whole of the Baron fight. Although saying that, with the shields from Orianna, the shields from Janna, they do have the potential to tank it quite well, and early Baron is weaker now, as we see Veryboar going aggressive and not getting much damage down at all.
Trindle has picked up a Banshee's Veil, so that is going to hurt the burst that comes out from Caston. Still going to hurt a fair bit, though. Veryboar winning that trade very convincingly. He has now picked up the Lichbane, as we were previously discussing, so his damage when he activates the Netherblade on W, that's going to hit for a lot of damage, especially if he does get some of the heavier AP items as well.
Yeah, I think he's building into Zhonya's at the moment. I'm surprised he didn't go the full stack Kassadin and pick up a tier, as well as the Rod of Ages, as that just brings a whole nother amount of late game damage that both those stacking items bring when they are.
And the Seraphs.
It does delay the power spike by quite a long way.
And the Seraph's Embrace is so nice if you're wanting to build a little bit tanky on Kassadin as well, because that extra shield, when you go into a fight, you've got the Null Sphere, sure, but if you've got the Seraph Shield on top of that, it's going to be very hard for an enemy team to kind of nuke you down. You go in, burst down an enemy target, pop the Seraph Shield, you're going to have the shield from Null Sphere. You should be able to survive long enough for your Riftwalk to come back up, so you can make that situational assessment. Can I go more ham, or do I have to back out?
Indeed, and that is potentially a little bit of a minimization, but then he wanted the earlier power spike, and that is also a valid option. One thing to bear in mind though, Cassiopeia is sitting on 360-ish stacks. When those start to ramp up, when Magician hits 500, that is going to be a massive power spike, and that is going to really hurt the late game of the late game for Heidi Daughters. And the wave clear that Cassia brings is pretty insane. They're going to find it very hard to siege against this.
Indeed they will. And right now, most members in the mid lane, it looks like people are starting to gear up for that next dragon fight, of course. And if it does go down in favour of Hydra Daughters, then that's an instant roam, basically. It's instant rotations, because it's 5% increased movement speed. You can set up so well for that. Speaking of setup, Elements is in a lot of trouble. Good use of the shockwave does conserve his life and removes a majority stake of the hostile life as well. Flash Hunt going very, very aggressive. Truple and Elements, the only people here right now. Elements gets caught again, incredibly low on health, is going to go down. There's the shutdown. The Magician gets caught out by the Glacial Prison though. Welshie's coming in, a lot of damage going to go across onto PC. Kill's going to get picked up by Welshie. Rivington's beard is going to go down as well. Trindle picks up another kill, and the double kill is going to be picked up by Welshie onto Flash Ant as well. Flash Ant just using that damage nuke from Cataclysm, of course, as well, just to make sure they do get a slightly more beneficial trade. A bonus tower destruction is going to be enough to take down this inner turret, though. Not really anything that the Very Ball can do about that.
Indeed. Do you see, because of that, the lack of wave clear being alive, they are getting a little bit of damage on this inhibitor tower. The Caston is going out, catches a Shruple out of position, but the quick collapse from Trindle, they are going to back up with the hook. Just about misses. You've got to feel that Trindle would have been in a little bit of trouble if that did land.
Well, he has got a decent amount of magic resist now, so the burst from Berry Ball immense. It definitely hurts, but I have the sort of feeling that he probably would have been okay, because he still would have had the hop available had he not used it to evade the death sentence.
Indeed, and I feel that...
Oh, Welshie, you are in a bad place, friend. Gets caught by the hook. No, he doesn't. That's Ebon Dragon. Never mind. Welshie is going to... Yep, he's going to fall back out of that. That's a very nice pickup for Plymouth Hose, though, because they now have that 6% AD AP.
Their second dragon, so they get the tower damage as well. They picked up the first one, and that is going to help them out a little bit, but I don't know how well they can siege either. Like, neither team are particularly good at sieging. They both have a lot of wave clear, but they don't really have much pressure or poke. They're both very kind of, we want to kite backwards with our wave clear with the Cassiopeia and the Oriana. So I feel like this game is going to be a bit of a stalemate for a little while longer.
For a while, perhaps. Magician being aggressed upon by Welshie. Welshie's going to take a lot of damage. Magician is going to get burst. That's 5 members. You're not going to survive that. Definitely not. That's a 5-man push coming straight down this middle lane. It looks like they are out for blood and an inhibitor turret.
And that's pretty much all of their wave clear gone as well. The Glacial Prison is still available. Obviously the Monsoon got used, the Shockwave got used a lot earlier, but they should be able to...
Oh, Shruple gets caught. The catch is good as well. Flash Hunt is going to have to flash out though, because the damage is just too high right now. Elements and Welshie. There's the Glacial Prison, but it's used more as a disengage than anything else. And they are going to have to fall away. 3 members considerably low on health. Elements just about half. Welshie and Shruple a good deal less.
Yeah, they had a little bit of indecision there, and I feel like if they had properly committed to that, they could have picked up a couple of kills for maybe 1 death, but they were indecisive, decided to play it safe in the end and just leave, pick up the River Scuttler and go back, spend some of their gold, pick up a blue buff onto Elements, and look to reset. And they're probably going to try and get another pick. One thing that they have been doing in getting a lot of picks so far and trying to push from that, and if they just carry on doing the same thing, they are going to end up getting an objective that actually puts a lot of pressure on this Plymouth team, such as an inhibitor tower or even a Baron.
If they do get the right pick, for example, if they catch Flash Ant, then absolutely they should be going for a Dragon, for a Baron right now. Of course, Dragon's going to be down for a good 3-4 minutes. for the time being, but if they get that Baron, then an inhibitor turret is almost guaranteed to fall anyway because of the Season 5 Baron effect being that massive buff to minions.
Yeah, and with the extra range on the siege minions, along with the update that makes them spawn every wave past 35 minutes, it's going to be extremely hard to take them down as they become very, very long-ranged, and you can just protect one.
Oh! Shruple you are! Long way from home.
That's a dead Jack.
Speaking of dead, though, Elements is in a lot of trouble too. There's the flash, there's the shockwave, but it only catches PC. PC is going to take a lot of damage, but he isn't going to fall. Still ticking away, but he's alright for the time being. Ebon Dragon actually gets him over the wall. Flash Hunt is going to jump through, take down Elements. Trindle's come through. Rivington's Beard not in a particularly bad situation right now. He's going to take a bit of damage, of course, from the boulder. But right now, it's Trindle and Welshi now holding this middle lane. That trade did not go well for them. They are going to have to fall back. Ebon Dragon cannot help them right now.
No, I think they were lucky to only lose one tower there and not any more people or towers, as all of the wave clear was gone with the Orianna and the Janna down and the Ebon Dragon Sejuani back at base. Though we do see Welshi checking Baron, not finding anything there, and they are looking to ping straight onto this inhibitor tower. We may see a little bit of a rush down mid, but I don't think they can pick anything up there. Though Vayne is in the bot lane with Cassiopeia, they might be able to rush this if they do not back soon.
Indeed. Rivington Beard it started the recall now anyway. I think the best call would be try and steal whatever jungle they can. Maybe get a bit of poke down. They are going to do just that. Trindle lobbing the boulder into Verybor's face. PC trying to go for a bit of a catch, but right now they are in not really any situation to do that. I mean, 2v5 situation, math just not quite where it needs to be. Trindle catching onto Flash Ant though. That's Ebon Dragon as well. Flash Ant going to use the flag and drag to get away. Actually pops the chilling smite onto Trindle as well, just to make sure he can make it back from that 1 minute 10 until the dragon respawns. And Hide Your Daughters are here. Well, they say it's best to be early, but I feel like in this situation they are losing a lot of potential golden experience, just kind of sitting here waiting for the dragon to spawn.
Yeah, I feel like they don't have the exact timer on this dragon, so they are going to realise that it's not up yet. It's probably not going to be up for a little while. Go back, pick up some creeps in this mid lane. One thing worth noting though is top lane is pushing very hard in favour of Plymouth. That is going very hard into Hide Your Daughters, and left unchecked, that will take a tower. That wave will take a tower.
It is a massive wave right there in the top lane. We'll have to see what's going on, but neither team wants to give up the next dragon. I mean, understandably so. The potential benefits. Oh, Shruple once again caught out by Verybor. He's going to be forced to flash as well. Verybor is still going on the chase. Shruple incredibly low on health. Trindle incredibly low on health as well. He's been caught out of position too. Verybor's going to take down Shruple. Element's going to use the Zhonya's at the right time. There's the catch. Rivington's Beard going incredibly low. Double kill picked up though as the Petrifying Gaze does massive damage. Ebon Dragon going to be taken incredibly low by Verybor. Well, she's going to be able to push him off for the time being. Verybor more than willing to keep going aggressive though. Going to wait for the friendly assistance. In it comes, and there's the martial cadence. That takes down Welshi, and that is a 4-for-0 trade. Things turn around massively, and now it's Plymouth Hose that are looking at the Baron.
Yeah, they are doing a very good job in just rushing this Baron. Rivington Beard or Vayne will be able to catch out Ebon Dragon and catch him between the two halves of the team and deny any potential for a steal there. And they take down the Baron and just gets out. Ebon Dragon just gets out, though there is a Cassidin on the case, and the Force Pulse slow, plus the Null Sphere is going to be a kill. And that huge wave in top lane has just hit the tower. Unfortunately for Plymouth, they're not going to really get anything out of it, as Janna and Orianna are there. Though ping's going onto the dragon, which is still available. And we're going to look to see Plymouth rushing straight to that to pick up their third dragon, get the extra move speed, which is, I think it's one of the most important dragons to pick up, obviously apart from the fifth. Just because the move speed allows you so much more pick potential, so much more kite potential, and just like move speed is just good, really. Helps out
There's,
with
there's,
pretty
there's
much
no
every
other, there's not really any other way to put it, is there? Anyway, it's actually Plymouth Hose that get to it first. Ebon Dragon's miles away. Of course, Plymouth don't know that, but unless Flash Ant messes up the smite, then it's unlikely that you're going to get this one stolen. Nope, that's going to be now a... Is it a 2?
That's Dragon 3 for Plymouth.
It is indeed. 3 dragons picked up by Plymouth and only 1 taken down now. So the movement speed on Plymouth is going to be massive. And of course, Verybot, this makes him a massive threat. He's now pretty close to endgame. I mean, he's got the Zhonyas, got the Lichbane and Rod of Ages we talked about earlier, and he's working towards a Void Staff as well. It's reaching the stage of the game where he is going to one-shot somebody. And there's almost nothing that can be done about it. And with that movement speed as well, on top of the Rift Walks that make him ridiculously mobile as standard, then Welshi and Elements are going to have to be on their toes every moment they can't see him.
Indeed they do. What they need to be doing now, though, instead of grouping as 5, they need to send Verybot and Kassadin down into bot lane or top lane and split push. They've got a massive wave both bot and top. I don't see why Welshi didn't get that top wave pushing out, but you're looking to see some poke here from Verybot. I guess they think they have the side lanes pushing anyway, they don't need someone there, but if they have that Baron buff on those minions, that's 3 towers, whether they're attacking the tower, whether the hero is attacking the tower or not. But they are looking to rotate.
It's a team rotation though.
Down behind.
Scrying off spots them though.
Yeah, we're going to see if a hook lands, but this outer tower, or inner tower in this bottom lane should be gone. There's very little chance that Tidy Daughters have of defending that through 3 Baroned up siege caps.
The range on those Baron of siege periods is absolutely insane, and there's the engagement! Fight not going massively well right now for either side, but Ebon Dragon's the first to go down. Magician picks up the first kill. We're going to see Rivington's Beard taking a lot of damage going down across the board. Triple kill picked up by Rivington's Beard, actually, and that's a clean... No, it's not a clean ace at all. It was a rather messy ace, but it's still an ace, and I'm pretty sure Plymouth Hose will be more than happy with that. They're hitting that late game point, and the Vayne...
They could possibly end off of this. The Vayne was left untouched in that team fight. They've got another wave coming in with them at the moment. If they focus down these towers, they can look to get at least one of these Nexus towers, possibly even end. They've got 10 seconds left.
They are going to get this. There we go. Yep. Down goes the Red Nexus. Victory goes across to the Plymouth Hose, and after a rather indecisive early game from them, they turned the game around. Of course, Vayne hitting that late game point, Kassadin going massive, and Cassio, of course, being the ultimate hyper carry mage. They are going to take the game in just over 40 minutes, but despite the gold lead, which was 6,000, well, 5,500 if we want to be exact on the money, kills-wise, completely even. Well, one difference, but close enough to even. The objective control was what won that game, for sure. 1 dragon to 3, they got the Baron, and from that they were able to take the game. Anyway, we're going to take a quick break, folks, just to get ourselves set up for the next game. For some reason, the victory screen not showing up, so we will disappear for just a couple of moments' time, and we will see what is going on for the next game, of course. Congratulations to Plymouth Hose for taking the first game in this Group C.